Meet the president of Montclair State University, Dr. Susan Cole, next on Carpe Diem. Welcome to Carpe Diem. I'm Merrill Brown, Director of the School of Communication and Media at Montclair State University. My guest today is Dr. Susan Cole, President of Montclair State, which serves more than 18,000 graduate and undergraduate students. Dr. Cole has led Montclair State for 14 years during a period of tremendous growth. And as the university is growing, there are new programs, new schools, new degrees, and new buildings. Dr. Cole, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Great to have you. Sort of like to start with a question about the general school year circumstance. We're nearing the end of the 2012-13 school year. What's the report card on how things are at Montclair State?
Well, the report card is excellent. Would I get anything but a good report card? The best part of it, of course, is that we are, as we near commencement, we can add up the accomplishment that really is at the very heart of what we do. We will be giving out 4,400 degrees to undergraduate and graduate students, and that, of course, is always extremely gratifying. But we've done a lot of other things this year of note, not the least of which is to launch the School of Communication and Media, about which you could probably tell everyone more than anyone else. I could probably ask you questions about that.
We'll do that another time, but for now.
The other exciting things that happened this year were the launch of the Feliciano Center for Entrepreneurship in the School of Business. That's a great program because basically what it does is it gives students the skills and the creativity to take their knowledge and understand how you turn that into products and services for people. So that's a great new program led by Dennis Bone, the former CEO of Verizon, New Jersey. Other things we launched this year in full-blown fashion was our new program in math learning. We have a kind of emporium, actually, for the teaching and learning of mathematics that follows a wonderful new model, mixing online and in-face and tutorial and proceed at your own pace and all kinds of methodologies that are showing terrific results in both exciting students about mathematics and in enabling them to succeed.
Those are exciting achievements, to be sure. You also were deeply involved last fall in helping make sure the state's initiative on higher education funding got passed by the voters of New Jersey, an important accomplishment for you, for higher education, and hopefully for the university. Update our listeners and viewers on exactly how that transpired and what it means to Montclair State.
It means a lot to Montclair State. It means a lot to higher education in New Jersey generally. We are now in the process of all of the campuses submitting their capital projects for consideration for bond money. There is up to about $1.5 billion in bond money available through the various programs and initiatives that have been put forward. And this is so critical to New Jersey because we have not had any higher education bond money in over a quarter of a century. And that really puts New Jersey as an outlier state in the nation. We have a number of really important projects that we are putting forward for consideration. One is our Center for Environmental and Life Sciences, a very significant science facility for us. We have very strong programs in the life sciences, and we are simply out of laboratories. We just don't have another place to put another researcher, another student. So this is very critical for us. a new facility for our School of Business, which serves about 2,000 students and is in a building that really does not contain them. In fact, I don't know how they manage it, but they are very much in need of a new and a modern facility. And then there is, of course, a facility for, I'll mention it again, the new School of Communication and Media, which will be very exciting in terms of providing more state-of-the-art facilities in all of those media platforms that are part of the future of that industry.
And these applications, if you will be assessed by the summer, and we'll know more at Montclair State and the other universities about how that money will be allocated?
We should know by sometime in May. Can't be certain, but that's the best guess that I'm hearing out there.
And what's the Montclair State strategic future dependent on in terms of that money? What are the consequences of our applications in this regard not being granted?
Well, I hate to even think about that, but there is no question that New Jersey has to build its capacity in higher education if it is going to have a vital economy. The people of New Jersey need these facilities. It's not that the university needs them, it's that the people of New Jersey need them. We, as a state, simply don't currently have the capacity to educate all of the people that we need to educate. This is a knowledge economy in this state, and we need our citizens to be able to attend public and private institutions in the state, and they need to have the facilities in order to be able to study there. We have we are very low on the national rankings of the provision of public baccalaureate seats per high school graduate, and we just need to do better. We lose about 30,000 students a year net because we don't, every year, year after year, because we don't have the capacity.
So these funding initiatives are critical to both maintaining, I guess, current capabilities, but also our growth.
Yes, and also to not just maintaining and growing, but also evolving as knowledge and all of the disciplines and fields of contemporary study evolve. The world of knowledge isn't a static thing, so new equipment is needed, new laboratories, new kinds of learning spaces. We have to keep growing in order to stay current. And we have to do another thing, which is preserve the assets that we have. There are many facilities on this campus, which is an old campus established in 1908, that are really old. And we'll lose them if we can't renovate them and bring them up to current standards and needs.
And hopefully the new School of Communication and Media is part of that, and we should talk about that for a minute. I joined the school in August of 2012, in part because of the vision for a new building we hope to build, and in part because of your vision for what the school can be, and in particular, what it can do with media partners throughout the region. We have this spring announced a number of those media partners, and share some of that vision with the viewers of the program, if you would.
I think that we have been, for a number of years, excited about the idea of bringing together all of our really fine programs in broadcasting and film and communications into an integrated school for communication and media, and thereby bringing together in the most dynamic way possible the investments in academic program and professional practice, so that students are fully engaged, not just with classroom learning, but actually working with professionals who are creating news and public information and arts and education and culture using new media platforms so that when they leave Montclair State, they are in the world of media as it is evolving.
And that's the vision I sign on to implement and help you implement it. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to do so. Let's move on past the school to some larger university questions. One of the things you've been outspoken about is MOOCs and what the direction of online learning is yielding in terms of the debate about the future of higher education. Let's discuss that a little bit. What's your point of view on the risks around MOOCs and what it means for Montclair State and higher education?
Let's first define it. A MOOC is a massive open online course. And what I think about MOOCs is that any mechanism that educates people is good. So MOOCs are good. Anything that educates is good. Is the MOOC going to replace the university as we know it? I think not. And I think not because the university is a magical kind of special learning community. No one quite understands why and how it works. Although all of us, I think, when we think of our children, know that we want them to have that experience. And again, we're not exactly sure why, but we know that somehow when you go through the university experience, you come out the other side of it, not just with knowledge, but with something that is more complex than that. Something about how knowledge is used in the world, something about how culture is transmitted, about how people work with each other, and how one as an individual fits into it in terms of their abilities and capacities. It is a dynamic experience that is not fully understood, but tested over centuries to work. So the MOOC is an interesting phenomenon. Certainly online coursework and hybrid coursework and bringing to the classroom, the traditional classroom, all of the advantages and opportunities inherent in electronic expressions of knowledge and information is a very good thing, but not a replacement for the traditional institution.
And how does Montclair State approach online education?
In two ways, I think, that are very interesting. First of all, we are very interested in the hybridization of the delivery of education. So a professor, yes, a classroom, yes, but also all the advantages of curricula that can be online, materials that are online, and second, added to that, I am very excited about our efforts to bring a global perspective to the process. So we have been experimenting with courses that are jointly offered here and in China, here in Turkey, here in Eastern Europe. And students in both places, at Montclair State and at a university in Turkey, are meeting in real time, online, with professors on both sides, sharing work electronically, and actually having a complete global experience without leaving their home country. The new online learning systems can do that for us.
And that's exciting and fits in obviously with the School of Communication and Media's vision about expanded learning opportunities as well. But there is still a debate going on in this country, and it's accelerating, about the so-called disruption of higher education and what all this is going to mean to students' willingness to pay high tuition rates and so forth. Do you think higher education is about to be disrupted?
I think higher education is regularly disrupted. I think that many phenomena throughout history have disrupted higher education, and higher education has therefore changed, evolved to address those disruptions and to meet them in a positive way. The growth of this institution from its start as a normal school
Normal Avenue, that means, right?
No, normal after école normale.
Right.
It was a French method of education, and most of the public institutions in America actually began as what were called normal schools, developed into teachers' colleges, developed into state colleges, developed into state universities, began to open their doors to increasing numbers of students, became more diverse, began to be more engaged in research, did more extension work. All of these were disruptions that caused the evolution of the entity we call the American university. So I don't see us on the brink of disaster. I do, however, think that we have a very serious issue about cost in front of us. The cost of higher education has grown. And in public higher education, the idea was to keep the cost as low as possible so that the opportunity could be available to as many as possible. With the disinvestment of state governments in public higher education, the cost burden has fallen more and more on students and their families. This is not a good thing if we are going to maintain access. And that's a problem that is a dangerous problem we need to solve.
One of the byproducts of that issue is Montclair State's geographic expansion, if you will. We teach in Bloomfield, we teach in various places around the region. This program is watched throughout New Jersey. How do you see Montclair's role evolving in the larger New Jersey region we live and work in?
Well, I think that Montclair State University, as the state's second largest university and extremely comprehensive developed institution, already serves students from every county in New Jersey, and increasingly so. Now that we have residence halls, which we didn't have before, well, we had some, but not enough, and we were having students put up in motels on Route 3. Now we have built 2,000 new beds. We have enough beds for all the heads that want to lie in them, and now more and more students can come to us from the further counties in New Jersey and also from neighboring states.
Do you see the campus expanding into adjoining towns? I mean, I don't think Montclair State's going to be NYU owning a huge chunk of a city or an increasing chunk of a city, but where do you see us going as a campus?
I think I see us not going anywhere. We have a large piece of land and a campus right here, which spans 3 townships and 2 counties as it is, and I believe that is sufficient. I have always felt that opening other campuses would not be economically efficient, that there are better ways to spend the money to serve the education of students, so I think we are going to keep our contained campus. However, that doesn't mean that we won't reach out. We have, as you point out, gone to other counties and other locations, very often in collaboration with another institution there, or in collaboration with a corporation that is interested in providing educational services. So continuing to do that kind of outreach, I think, makes a great deal of sense. And also, as I said a little bit earlier, I think we are going to travel, if you will, electronically, rather than by building buildings around the world.
Speaking of the future, obviously you saw a dramatic change in the future of Montclair State when you joined in the late 90s as president. 10 years from now, how do you imagine Montclair State University?
I think that we have been heading in a very well-defined direction pretty consistently, and I expect us to continue to do that. Our goal has been to provide the best possible undergraduate and graduate education we can. So we have focused very strongly on continuing to recruit more and extremely excellent professors. I think they are at the heart of everything the university does, and so we put a tremendous amount of our resource into that, and I expect us to continue to build the full-time faculty of this university, and also to continue to elevate the excellence of those who come and teach and do their scholarship and research here. I expect us to continue to be increasingly successful in attracting research dollars from federal agencies and in doing scholarship on this campus that has meaning and purpose in terms of the betterment of society, which is the focus that we particularly like to give to our work here. And I see serving increasing numbers of students, continuing to make sure that they graduate on time, and continuing to improve our physical facilities, those that are necessary really to the provision of a first-rate education.
We are creeping now toward 19,000 students at Montclair State. How big can the university be in your vision?
I think that we can accommodate on the campus in the low 20,000 students in a traditional way, but additional students beyond that electronically and in other ways, in certificate programs that are offered perhaps in corporate settings or in collaboration with other institutions, and some of the MOOC type activities that will grow up around the periphery of almost all institutions.
Do you have, though, a dream of, boy, if only we could have a school of X? What would that be?
In terms of size?
No, in terms of a specific program. If we could only have a school that offered X within the system of the university.
Well, I hate to mention it again, but the school that we have been imagining is the School of Communication and Media. We have several professional schools. We have absolutely first-rate programs in education, professional program. We have very fine programs in the arts in terms of the performing arts that are professional programs. We have a very strong professional program in business. I wanted one more for the university, and I really felt strongly because of our excellence in this area, because there really was nothing like this around, certainly not in New Jersey, that the School of Communication and Media would be our next large professional school.
Speaking of successes.
I do not want a medical school.
Fair enough. There probably isn't a place for it right now, but fair enough.
Or a law school.
Right, okay, fair enough. It's also been a successful year in sports, especially on the women's side. We had the extraordinary accomplishment of a women's basketball team making the Sweet 16 in their division. As we speak, we also have the #1 women's softball team in America within our division.
We do, we do.
Share with us some of your thinking about how sports is important at Montclair State.
Montclair State has a very long, strong tradition in athletics, but it is a tradition that is tied to Division III. And the reason we love Division III is because we believe in the concept of the scholar athlete. We want our students not to come to college to be athletes. We want them to come to college to be students who love athletics and who excel in athletics. And so that combination of the scholar athlete is very fundamental to our philosophy of what an athletic program really should be in a university. Now, I know there are many people who disagree with me about this, but we believe in this very, very strongly. So we have a very strong tradition. We have 17 or 18, I always lose count, intercollegiate athletic teams. They are winners. They are terrific teams, but they're also great students heading to great careers and lives. The other thing that we have is a very strong tradition in training people. We train many of the coaches that you see in colleges and universities have been trained right here at Montclair State in athletic training. to protect the safety and well-being of our athletes. So those are very strong programs also.
Similarly, in terms of things that the public knows about our university, many of them increasingly know about peak performances, an important part of the College of the Arts, which our school is a part of. Tell us about the state of peak performances as we get closer to a new fall season of it.
Well, the thing about peak performances is that we have there fully realized a dream that we had, which is to bring a state-of-the-art performance to the university campus so it could be available to students but also to the larger community. And in this case, the larger community includes many people in New York City who actually get on the train, bus, and car to come out to Montclair State to see what we are doing in peak performances, because it isn't done anywhere else. We're pushing the edge of performance in the same way that we like to push the edge of science. And I've often used that comparison. Just as we support research that is going to move knowledge and science forward, we support programs in the arts that are going to be new, that are going to help us see what the arts are in new ways each time we do something at peak performances. So it's been terrifically successful under the leadership of Jed Wheeler, who is outstanding at what he does, and it's given our students incredible opportunities to see working, to work with, to get on the stage with some of the foremost and most interesting artists out there today.
We only have a moment left, but share with us your highlight for the peak performances season this year.
Oh, for goodness sakes. I love them all.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for joining us today. For more information on this or any edition of Carpe Diem, contact us at carpediem@mail.montclair.edu or call 973-655-5158. I'm Merrill Brown. From all of us at Montclair State University, thanks for watching Carpe Diem today.